Broad Street was cold and wet when several hundred people of all ages assembled on the Kirk Green at 2 p.m. on Friday 31st December 1999. The occasion was to witness the unveiling of the Millennium Bar plaque. The bronze plaque is to be a permanent memorial to commemorate the Kirkwall Bar game and its history, which stretches back over 200 years. The unveiling ceremony was to be carried out by Mr. John Robertson, chairman of the Bar Committee, who in his speech on the tradition and history of the bar game emphasised its long connection with the Kirk Green and the streets of Kirkwall. He also thanked the public for their generosity in subscribing to the plaque, thus confirming the esteem in which the bar is held.
Good afternoon, despite the inclement weather. It's a remarkable turnout, and thank you very much for coming. This is very much an auspicious occasion, and indeed despite the weather, and as we approach the new millennium, it's good to have such a splendid plaque here, sited in the Kirk Green to commemorate the bar and the bar's history. It was here that the bar was played more than 200 years ago in another form. That's as long ago as the 18th century. It's a long time. The bar was played just where we are now standing. And in due course, the bar was then moved from here onto the streets about 190 years ago, and then gradually it formed the state of play that it now has. That it was a football game that was played here. So this is the origin of the bar, is where you're now standing. The public have been very generous, and really on behalf of the Bar Committee I'd like to thank everyone who subscribed so handsomely to the plaque. It cost a lot of money, and it's money well spent. The public have been very generous, and I think this confirms the esteem in which the bar is held by people in all walks of life in Kirkwall and of all ages. Now, Gary Gibson has been responsible for a great deal of work in the design and the creation of the finished article, and a great deal of thanks is due to Gary for all his signal efforts. Thank you very much, Gary. To thank Mike Anderson also, because it was his suggestion, Mike's suggestion, to establish a commemorative book of signatures. It was a very good idea, simple idea, and very effective. So thanks to Mike. The Bar Committee is also grateful to Alan Stout, to Colin Watson, to John and Stewart Dowell for assistance and for various works associated with the construction and the positioning of the plinth and the plaque. And finally, we'd like to say how much we are grateful to the Community Council and to the Islands Council for the help they've afforded us in having this done. So here we have, finally, ladies and gentlemen, here we have a permanent memorial to a wonderful traditional pastime, a memorial which I now have great pleasure in unveiling. This was supplied by Charlie Miller, and thank you very much, Charlie, for doing so.
The plaque, designed and sculpted by veteran bar player Gary Gibson, portrays the mass of players, uppies and doonies, reaching upwards at the throw. On the lower section of the plaque, there is a short history of the game. I'd like to thank Jim for organising this, because basically it was his idea that we have this photograph, and he arranged to get the school hall here and various items. So if you just listen to what he's going to tell you, it'll go over much quicker and you all get home to enjoy the rest of the festivities. Thanks very much. Four main photos.
After the unveiling, past winners and others gathered in the grammar school for group photos of the 20th century bar winners.
After that, we'd like to get a photo of the bar makers, right? And we'd like all the photos fronted by the 2 Millennium bars. After that, we're open to suggestions. I know there's groups of you here who would quite like to get a photo taken, and I'm sure our photographers will be quite happy to do that. So if you've got ideas about that, please let us know. I know that there's a bunch of Doonies who had 12 in a row, who didn't dare go to the Queen's to get their photo taken. That's why we made the decision not to take the bars here. We thought they're a big enough job with 12. What would happen with this lot? So I do understand that some of you are disappointed with that. But that was part of the reason for that, okay? So we hope you'll go along with what we're doing today. If I can start with the boys' bar winners of this year, please. Up on the top left-hand corner, and we'll just call them here after that and see how it goes. Okay? Tap.
You've done that well, Jim. Well done.
Firstly, we have the boys' bar winners. In the back 2 rows, we have Al Watson, Drew Leslie, George Keldy, Greg Rory, Davy Leonard, Derek Sutherland, Nicky Monkman, Ian Stewart, Keith Harkis, Ian Gorn, Balfour Bailey, Sigurd Gibson, Stephen Kemp, Ronald Patterson, Roy Keldy, Gordon Wilson, Keith Leonard, Gordon Mulrain, Gary Dowell, Bruce Moore, Stephen Spence, Angus Finlater, James Bailey, Ian Croy, Robbie Thompson, David Johnston, Davy Flett, Chris Burgess, Alec Finlater, Colin Patterson, Colin Kirkpatrick and Andy Kemp. And in the front rows we have Freddie Rory, Ronald Muir, Alan Monkman, Mackie Thompson, Jim Leonard, Gordon McGilvery, Eric Kemp, Dan Grieve, Dennis Muir, Jack Donaldson, David Sinclair, Pat Bakey, Roy Linklater, Leslie Tate, Hasto Smith, Sandy Keldy, Gary Gibson, Davy Miller, Eddie Craigie, Kenneth McConaughey, John Stephen, Lawrence Leonard, Graham Smith and Edgar Gibson. This shot shows the men's bar winners. Seated at the end of the second front row is Freddie Rory, and at the end of the front row are Tom Shearer and Dan Grieve. In the back 2 rows we have Leslie Manson, George Curry, Edgar Gibson, Evan Monkman, Andy Kemp, Kenny Garrick, Jim Bailey, Graham King, John Copland, Stuart Gray, Sandy McConaughey, George Rendell, Ian Hutchin, Davy Miller, Fred Cossey, Jack Leslie, Eddie Barnett, Paul Miller, Erland Tate, Stuart Leslie, Keith Cossey, Benny Thompson, Michael Stevenson, John Stephen, Davy Johnston, Jim Linklater, Brian Anderson, Alan Craigie, Fraser Byers, Alan Rory, Kenny Unson and Jim Cromarty. Then in the front we see Jim Leonard, Jock Harkis, Brian Smith, Vinnie Linklater, Brian Kemp, Billy Stephen, Eric Kemp, George Donaldson, David Sinclair, Jackie Miller, Calvin Slater, Bill Sim, Duncan Curry, Jack Donaldson, Bobby Leslie, Billy Johnston, Dennis Muir, John Robertson, Mike Drever, Billy Jolly, Matty Stephen, David Johnston, Gary Gibson, Ian Smith, Brian Barnett, Lyle Flett, Leslie Tate, Sandy Budge, Alan Hutchison, Jim Dick, Mike Anderson, Alan Monkman, Sandy Keldy and Ronald Muir. The next shot shows the most recent bar makers of the 20th century, Linny Linklater, Dan Grieve, Gary, Edgar and Sigurd Gibson, and missing from this shot is George Drever. This group's made up of players who were awarded both boys and men's bars in the 1900s. This book contains the signatures of the many players and supporters who have contributed to the bar plaque unveiled earlier this afternoon. The final grouping shows the bar committee with the bars which were to be thrown up on New Year's Day 2000. Players mingled for a while after the photo session, reminiscing over past games and looking forward to the first games of the 21st century.
The chimes ring out from St Magnus Cathedral to herald in the new millennium to a crowd of around 3,000 people who have come down to Broad Street for the party. Three-piece suite now appear on stage to entertain the lively crowd with a song about the bar. The Passion and the Glory was composed by Cant and Stewart Shearer.
It's been going on here for many a year. It's a song about the bar. It's got the passion and the glory. It's also going to be our last one tonight. Thanks very much for coming along and listening to us. And we've got Blue Mother coming on after this. Thank you and good night.
The Boys Millennium Bar. Crafted by George Drever and to be thrown up by Gary Gibson.
And
That's all right. Millennium Bar.
well, I couldn't be Brother George to throw up a ball made by you on the Millennium.
Well, I feel the same way. It's good man that's thrown that up. All the work you've done for the year for the bar, it's absolutely fantastic, Gary.
And we're all bar makers together, and though I'm stopped making them, I couldn't get a better ball to throw up. And our families already got 2 of George's balls in the house, you know, so that I'm particularly proud to be able to throw up this bar that George made for the Millennium, the first of the Millennium.
Right.
I won a boys' ball in the first half of this century,
Right.
and so again, there's me gonna throw a ball up for the boys at the beginning of the next
You
century.
never know, maybe your grandparents next.
Ah,
Maybe
give
your
you,
grandparents.
well, you never can, you never can.
Yeah.
To celebrate the occasion of the Millennium Bar, family, friends and members of the bar committee join Gary for a pre-bar drink.
I know, I was tempted. I did it 97, but
The company line up outside Transcona for photographs before escorting Gary to Broad Street.
Happy New Year. It's like, oh, fine. Just for a bit.
The main door of St Magnus Cathedral provides the backdrop for more photographic and video enthusiasts.
There's definitely more uppies there now.
Gary moves down to the Market Cross in good time for the throw-up. Gary is a double winner, being awarded a boys' bar on New Year's Day 1949 and the men's bar 18 years later on Christmas Day 1967. As well as being a bar committee member, Gary was also for many years a bar maker.
It's that high up, you can't get it.
The boys from both sides begin to assemble. Many of the younger players are looking very apprehensive of the task ahead.
Come on, the Denise! Here's
The spectators now begin to arrive in larger numbers as the half-hour chimes draw nearer. A perfect throw goes out into the midst of the waiting players. A quick head count provides a total of over 90 players at the start. The early weight is obviously with the Doonies and the bar moves down below the cross.
Keep pushing, boys. Keep going.
A number of young players prance around the outside of the park, learning quickly from the older players. Some fathers can be seen quietly supporting their sons in what is probably their first bar. For a few moments, it looks as though the bar is coming loose up onto the Kirk Green, but the centre players quickly drag it back down to re-establish the status quo. The bar soon moves away from the wall, some players go down, but the main scrum rumbles across the street towards the longship. Suddenly Dooney George Kelly breaks out, but his progress is hindered by the close proximity of the spectators, and he is brought down by the uppies at the tourist office car park. Regaining their feet, the players move on downwards, onto the barricades and eventually back onto the ground once again.
Yes,
The Doonies are looking for a hat-trick of wins after the Oppies had recorded 8 victories between New Year's Day 1995 and Christmas Day 1998. The play swings around into Castle Street, eventually ending up in the car park behind Lloyd's TSB before moving on into Gaswine. For a few moments, it looks as though the game may go back up towards Albert Street. Some daring players attempt to disrupt play by coming in over the wall in Gaswine, but they are easily repelled.
Drive on, boys! Drive on, boys! Come on! Drive on! He's no worry! He's no always lying out there! Come on, boys! Turn the bar around then! Ready, wait a minute, please!
At about 11:25, after a lengthy period of hard play, the pack surges down into the Albert Street car park, with the Oppies vainly trying to stem this downward momentum.
Come on, let's put our move. Come on, lie on together. Come on. You're going to move, lie on together. What are you doing? Good. No, I want.
By now, there must be over 100 boys involved in the game. A car is then manhandled out of the way by the players as the main pack squeezes on relentlessly.
Standing there, if I really trying to put his foot forward. Don't stand in there.
Stewart, hand that together and go away. Come on, boys.
You need a break.
Come on, Stewart, boys. Come on, Stewart. Keep her going, Stewart. Keep her going that way. Follow the right here. He's in front here.
With the Doonies seemingly in control of the centre of the scrum, play travels quickly down through the car park.
Fucking lion! Go fucking away! Get in there! Lion there, boys, come on!
By 11:40, Chunkin Road is reached. Play is loose and the bigger Dooney Park now senses victory. The bar is once more decked, and a period of frantic play takes place as the sides fight for control. Even in the heat of the conflict, there are important things to talk about.
That is disgusting.
The first aid team stand at the ready, always hoping that their expertise is not required. Play is brought to a halt by the disabled access ramp and railings at the post office. When eventually comes clear, the path begins to move towards the harbour. The camera angle actually distorts the distance travelled.
Are you cleaning in the bath?
The security fence at the kiln corner now has its first bar test as play surges on towards the basin. Another Dooney break ends with the game grounded round the kiln corner, within sight of the basin. After a short stoppage, the Dooneys managed to force the bar into the water for a well-played victory. The game has lasted just under 2 hours. Brothers Neil and Stewart Rosie are both in the shallow water with the bar before Stewart climbs out and is acclaimed the first bar winner of the new millennium. Overall, it was an excellent contest with the Dooneys worthy winners, but the Hockbees fighting every inch of the way.
Gary Gibson, representing his son Edgar, who made this bar, delivers the trophy to Dan Greaves' house.
Then in the bar.
That's me boys back in the day. You and me made bars, but that's me son. I think it's quite a good one.
It's a good bar. And it's stopped up piece of smuggling.
Dan Greaves has been given the honour of throwing up the Millennium Men's Bar. Dan is an outstanding Dooney player and former bar maker, having won a boys' bar on Christmas Day 1936 and his men's on Christmas Day 1952.
Wait a minute.
One of Dan's friends and uppy opponent Eric Kemp has a specially worded inscription on his shirt which provokes a bit of fun.
You fist the bar. You fist the bar. Put the bar there. You fist the camera. That's the best shot you'll get there. That's the best shot I've seen.
Suitably attired.
It's traditional at this time for friends, family and some bar players to visit to wish the thrower good luck. On this very special occasion, Dan's gathering is bigger than usual.
One good crushing and to finish. Yes, this is art film. It's a good film.
How are you doing, guys? Happy New Year.
No, she's
We'll look after
Grandson.
That's it.
Margaret, Dan.
Okay.
Right, let's go. Some other
After a brief photo session with Dan's wife and daughter, Margaret and Hazel, both very enthusiastic Dooney supporters, Dan and his friends set off for the throw-up.
Just walk right past me. Excellent, excellent.
No date today, mate. Behave yourself.
Oh, that's okay.
Yes, right.
Oh, well.
Dan proudly arrives at the steps of St Magnus Cathedral, flanked by his grandsons and son-in-law. All three happen to be uppies, but Dan is pleased to have them with him today. The uppies descend the brae from Victoria Street. Soon after, the Dooneys arrive out of Albert Street. On this occasion of the Millennium Contest, John Robertson, chairman of the Bar Committee, takes the opportunity to say a few words.
The first men's bar of the new millennium, the third millennium. Every bar is special, but this bar is particularly auspicious. It's a special game today. The traditional annual contest is of much significance in the history and the ongoing life of Kirkwall. It's unique, it's widely supported, it knows no social barriers and has been played in one form or another for at least 200 years under the magnificence of St Magnus Cathedral, here in the Kirk Green and on the streets of Kirkwall. The bar belongs to you, you own the bar, and to generations will follow you. So the bar's yours and it's for generations afterwards. You're the present custodians and it's your continued responsibility, not least to your successors, to keep the game strong and to keep it thriving and to respect its traditions, to play it sensibly and to protect and to sustain it with pride. Behaviour that would damage the bar must be avoided at all costs. Celebration makes a real difference between life here in Orkney and life elsewhere. And this is a rare day, and on this rare day, Uppies and Dooneys alike look forward to another 100 years of the bar, played and enjoyed responsibly on and over the streets of this old town, without let or hindrance from any temporal power. This is a memorable occasion. Enjoy the day and thank you very much for listening.
John's speech is well received by the players and a large gathering of spectators. Many obviously feel it's important to preserve this well-established tradition. The formalities completed, the players are waiting impatiently for the cathedral clock to strike 1. The waiting over, players soak up the immense pressure. Feel the relief of the game starting, then both teams strive to gain an early advantage. The Bass close to the Kirkwall wall at this stage. Older players from both sides are urging their teams on. Finally, the Uppies seem to make some progress, but it's not too long before a small knot of Doonies counters the action. Both teams are still battling to try to establish their dominance in the middle. It's good to see that even in the midst of this turmoil, some folk remember it's New Year and take time to exchange good wishes.
Yeah, there's a first one, there's a second one.
Unfortunately, players do sometimes get injured in this very robust game. Everyone involved is very grateful for the support of the Red Cross and the ambulance services. Thankfully, on this occasion the injuries sustained were not too serious. No doubt the player involved will return next Christmas Day. The Uppies try the famous rumble tactic, but once again their efforts are very soon thwarted, and players collapse into the steps. A small group of Uppies curl out and look to break up the street. It proves to be a dummy run. They don't have the bar.
Come on, Lindsay, he's on your toes and squeeze!
Heavy rain was falling by this time. The Doonies suddenly realise that a small group of Uppies have worked their way along the wall with the bar, gaining valuable ground. Once again, the Uppies fail to make the most of their advantage and are soon struggling. Play is very even at this stage, with each side taking it in turn to have control. While the middle of the scrum is down, the Doonies suspect the Uppies have moved the bar to the opposite side of the scrum. When the game gets underway again, about 2:30, there's a general movement up the street. Then, an apparent break down the street, giving the Uppies the opportunity to initiate the most decisive break of the game so far.
Shots for you, no boy.
Soon after, a small group of Uppies make a determined burst for the mouth of Victoria Street. Many players had followed the earlier dummy break down the street. They now realised the real situation and rejoined the main scrum. Despite determined Dooney opposition, eventually the game moves into the narrow confines of Victoria Street, giving the Uppies much added confidence.
Did you see this working between me and
At this stage, the losing team often resorts to diversionary tactics. A small group of Doonies pretend they have the bar, but on this occasion, no one is fooled. Once again, the Doonies tried to create a diversion, this time making a dummy run up the street. Once again, few players take it seriously. The Uppies now seem to have control in the middle, but the Dooneys struggle desperately to try to break it. Once the Uppies reach the end of Victoria Street, just before 4 o'clock, they move the scrum swiftly across the clay lawn, denying the Dooneys the option of diverting the game onto the back road. Once into Main Street, the Uppie progress is slow but steady. It's not too long before the game arrives at the long corner. In line with recent tradition, the bar is ceremoniously rolled up the wall. The time is 4:25 p.m. Within a few minutes, amidst calls of "Fletcher, Fletcher," the bar is quickly awarded to Davy Flett. Davy is a very popular winner after many years of dedicated and effective play for the Uppies. He also won a boys' bar on New Year's Day 1982.
This sounds like somebody I used to play with years ago.
Players and friends gather at Davy's home to celebrate with him and his wife. Two delighted people at the end of a great day, one which I'm sure they'll remember forever.